Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mr. iPock here for a homework help video for lesson 2.1 homework. And now this is for the algebra class. I've actually made another YouTube video for the pre-algebra homework. It looks a little bit different. So if you're on this and you're in my pre-algebra class, you need to go back to YouTube or go back to Google Classroom and find the your video that it'll say pre-algebra for the homework. So my algebra students, I'm going to work a couple problems with you to try to help you out, and hopefully you can see this a little bit better. So let's start with number 2. This is a pretty monster of a problem. So just looking at it, let's begin to break it apart. Remember, just because it's a large problem doesn't mean it's difficult. It just means it's maybe a little more complicated. So first step is to always multiply the coefficients. We have 2, -2, and -3. So we're going to multiply those. 2 times -2 is -4. -4 times -3, -4 times -3 is a positive 12. Again, 2 times 2 is 4, -4, and then -4 times -3 is a positive 12. And then I can mark my coefficients out because I need them no more. Okay. Now let's go to our m's, starting with our m. And what we do when we have like bases of the m, we're going to add their exponents. So we got exponent of 4. We have exponent of 2. So your m's is 4 plus 2, which is m to the 6. So 12 over 1 times m to the 6 over 1. And we write these as fractions because we could possibly see some fractions in here. So, and then I mark my m's off because I'm done with my m's. Now let's go to our n's. For our n's, we have n to the 4th. So 4. I'm talking about our exponents, 4, and I'm done with that one. And then -4, so plus -4, and then plus 2. This 2 right here, that's an n. And then I'm done with that one. Now I add this up. 4 plus -4, or 4 moved to the left 4 times, will give us 0, and 0 plus 2 is 2, so n to the 2nd. So 12 over 1 times m to the 6 over 1, then I'm going to say times n to the 6 over, or m to the 2nd, my apologies, n to the 2nd over 1. Now go to your p's. For our p's, we have p, we have -2 plus 4 plus -2. Okay? So for our p's, we have -2 plus 4. So -2 moved to the right 4 times. That would actually take us to positive 2, and then positive 2 moved to the left 2 would take us to 0. So p to the 0, which equals 1. So basically it's just this times 1, because we don't, and you can say 1 over 1 is fine as well. But anything to the 0 power is 1. So now we have 12 times m to the 6 times n to the 2nd times 1. So our final answer would just be 12 m to the 6 n to the 2nd, and that is my final answer. Again, that's kind of broken apart. We're almost looking at it as 3 separate problems. Let's skip down to number 4. Number 4, 3np cubed times 4m to the 4th n to the -2nd p to the 4th. So with here, what we're going to do, multiply coefficients. We have these coefficients of 3 and 4, so we have 12. I'm done with those coefficients. I'm marking them out. Now go to my next letter. I have n to the 1st. If there is no exponent, the exponent's 1, and I have n to the -2nd. So I'm going to come over here to the side, and I'm going to say n 1. I'm adding because it's multiplying, n times, and you can even draw a line, n times n, and 1 plus -2. So that's 1 moved to the left 2, which would take us to -1. Now you can't keep we don't want a negative as an answer, so we kick out the negative, and whatever we have left, we put it under 1. So 1 over n. Now I'm going to multiply that times the 12, so I'm going to go ahead and put the 12 as a fraction. So 12 over 1 times 1 over n. Because n to the 1st times n to the -2nd is 1 plus -2, which then gives us -1, because 1 moved to the left 2 times will give us -1. Kick out the -1 over n. So now I'm done with my n's. Now I do my p's. P to the cubed times p to the 4th, that's just p 3 plus 4, and which is p to the 7th. And I'm going to write that as a fraction, so I'm going to say p to the 7th over 1. I'm done with my p's. And then what I'm left with is a m to the 4th. Well, there's nothing to combine it with, so it's simplified. So we just say m to the 4th, but we're going to write it as a fraction because of the multiplication. So we have 12 times 1 times p to the 7th times m to the 4th. So that would be 12 p to the 7th, m to the 4th, and that's all going to be over n times 1 times 1 times 1 is just n. So we got 12 p to the 7th, m to the 4th, n. Let's scoot that up. Last one I'll work will be last one on the front side I'll work would be number 7. 2m to the negative 1 n to the 2nd p to the 0 times the quantity of pm to the negative 2 n squared cubed. So first step, we have a power of a product here. So we got to take care of this power of a product before we even touch this. So I would just almost look at this problem like that. I need to solve that. Okay. So your first step is to raise each factor to the power. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite the left side of the problem. 2m to the negative 1 n squared p to the 0 times, now simplify this. Well, I told you some of my classes today, you just got to write this stuff out. So write p and then times m to the negative 2 and then times n squared. So the only thing I've done is I've just brought these down. P down, m to the negative 2 down, and then n squared down. Now I've got to attach a cube to all this. So we're going to attach a cube there. We're going to attach a cube there and a cube here. Now this looks really funky right here. Okay, so that's when we make it cleaner with math by putting it around in parentheses. Okay, so now we keep going. And my next line would be 2m to the negative 1 n to the 2nd p to the 0 times p cubed stays the same, that's simplest form, but this is a power of a power, so remember you multiply the exponents. So times m to the, that would be to the negative 6th power, and then times n to the 6th power, because you multiply these two numbers. Okay, now after that, now we're ready to combine. The only coefficient we have here is a 2, so we're going to write our 2 down, so 2 over 1. I'm done with that. And if you have to go to another sheet of paper, that's okay. Now let's go to our m's. We have m to the negative 1 and m to the negative 6. We're going to come over here and we're going to say m negative 1 plus, because we're adding, plus negative 6. So it says negative 1, move to the left, negative 1, move to the left 6 times, which will take us to m to the negative 7th. Now I can't keep that as negative 7, so I'm going to kick the negative out. Whatever I have left, put it under 1. So now this is times 1 over m to the 7th. That takes care of my m's. Now I go to the n's. I have n squared times n squared times n to the 6th. So I say n2 plus 6 is n to the 8th. And to write as a fraction, I say n to the 8th over 1. I'm done with my n's. Now I go to my p's. This should be pretty simple because anything to the 0 power is 1, so I can cancel that out, and then I just have p cubed. So I'm going to write as p cubed over 1. My final answer would be 2 n to the 8th p cubed all over m to the 7th. And that's my final answer there. Again, first step is to knock out that power of a product, to simplify that down, and then you can start, and then you can multiply across. Let's go to the back side. Let's start with number 9. Starting with number 9. Okay, so if we're going to start with number 9, we got 2 over 4. First step is always simplify the coefficients. So simplify those coefficients. 2 over 4 can be simplified to 1/2. I'm done with that. Now let's go to the x's. X to the 4th over x to the negative 4. So we got x, 4. When you're dividing like bases with the exponents, you subtract the exponents. So the like base is x's, and we're going to divide that. Or excuse me, we're going to subtract it. 4 minus negative 4. Well, the 2 minus minus turns to a plus. You add the opposite. 4 plus 4 is 8. So that's going to give you x to the 8th. So we come down here. We write as a fraction, though. We say x over 8 over, x to the 8th over 1. And then I'm done with the x's. Now I move on to my next ones. Y to the 0 over y cubed. That's y, 0 minus 3. Well, that's going to give me y to the negative 3rd. I kick the negative out. I write this under 1, y cubed. So then I bring this over 1 over y cubed. That takes care of the y's. Now go to your z's. Z is 0 minus negative 1, which turns to a plus plus, which would just give me z to the 1st, or just simply z. So times z over 1. And now I'm just going to multiply numerator and denominator, so my final answer would be x to the 8th z. Don't forget about that z right there on the end, and I kind of show you some separation right there. X to the 8th times z over 2y cubed. Okay, let's go to 14 next. 14 is a, we kind of have something down here in the denominator first that we kind of need to take care of. So let's take care of that first. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work, this is called a power of a product in the denominator. I'm going to bring this over here and I'm going to work it out. So this would actually be negative 2yz x to the 4th cubed. And what I need to do is raise each factor to the power. So now this is what it looks like. Just remember, jot them down. Negative 2 times y times z times x to the 4th. So the only thing I've done is I've literally just copied these down right here. Okay? But now I'm going to attach a cube to all of them. So negative 2 cubed, negative y cubed, z cubed, and x 4th cubed. But this looks real goofy, so we put parentheses around it to clean it up. Now we can simplify this. Negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4, but times another negative 2 would give us a negative 8. So negative 8, and then y cubed remains the same, and then times z cubed, or excuse me, yeah, z cubed, sorry. And then x to the 4th, that you multiply that, and that's going to be x to the 12th. So now, this power of a product is simplified to this right here. So I'm going to rewrite my problem. Negative 2x to the 4th, y cubed, z to the 4th, all over, not this, what I simplified it to. Negative 8x, or excuse me, negative 8, y to the 3rd, z to the 3rd, x to the 12th. I'll give you a second to kind of get that down. Okay, now from there, we are going to, first of all, this negative is on the outside, so that's a negative. Basically, you could put that negative in the numerator, so you know that's going to be a positive. So first step, divide your coefficients. So when we divide our coefficients, 2 over 8, that would give us 1 over 4. And then I'm done with my coefficients. Now go to your x's. Now, just because they're not lined up perfect doesn't mean anything. You can still solve it just by saying x and x. So we got x to the 4th, basically x4 minus 12, because I have like bases and I subtract them. 4 minus 12 is equal to x to the, well, basically you would add the opposite there. And so 4 moved to the left 12 times would take you to negative 8. Can't keep it as negative. You kick it out. Whatever you have left, put it under 1. So your x's produced times 1 over x to the 8th. That's our x's. Now let's go to our y. We got y cubed over y cubed. Hey, that's a beautiful thing, because it's from the same thing. You can just knock them off because they automatically cancel. Cancel. So z to the 4th over z cubed, that would be z. 4 minus 3. 4 minus 3 is z to the 1st, which is just simply z. And then to put it as a fraction, we say z over 1. My final answer is z, 4x to the 8th power. Okay. Now, just to look at 15, I'm not going to work it, but I'm going to help you out. I would ignore, I'm not going to work it, I'm just going to try to give you a hint here. Ignore that and simplify first. And then once you simplify, then add on the cube later. So I would ignore this, I'd work it all out, and then I would, at the end, I would cube what I have it simplified to, and then just by raising each factor to the power. So I'm going to challenge you with that problem by not giving it to you, but try to figure it out. So again, my first step is I would just cover this up, and I would try to begin to solve this, like the coefficients, the h's, the j's, the k's, and then at the end I would add on the cube to whatever I simplified that to, and then you raise each factor. Okay, so just try to hint that out for you there. Let's look at 16. Looking at 16 real quick. I don't have much time, but I'll try to get through it. So my first step, or actually 16 kind of looks just like number 14. So if you saw that number 14, that's basically what you're doing on number 16. You just need to work out that denominator. Okay, work out that denominator. I'm going to challenge you with this problem and that problem, and also 13 looks like 14 and 16. So, hey, that will conclude this homework help video. I hope it helped. If you have questions, see me tomorrow first thing in the morning, or I will take any questions before we check the homework. Thank you so much. Have a good day.